Dark psychology, the most dangerous mind is not the one that speaks with absolute certainty, but the one that listens with absolute calculation. Most people believe that to read a person, to detect a lie, or to win a negotiation, you must trap them with a clever trick or cross-examine them like a judge. They are wrong. That is a loud, reactive approach that alerts your target. The true masters of social warfare utilize a silent, analytical protocol known as cognitive auditing. Instead of hunting for lies, you create an environment where the manipulator's own social anxiety forces them to confess. By masterfully applying low-tempo questions, holding your frame through aggressive listening, and refusing to validate their emotional smoke bombs, you turn yourself into a human mirror. You don't try to catch them. You simply let them talk until their own social facade collapses under its own structural weight. If you don't know how to audit the hidden data leaked in casual conversations, you will always be blind to the traps being built around you. Here are the 5 brutal signs of an elite human auditor to scan any mind, decode their hidden motives, and maintain absolute dominance in every interaction. Rule number 1. Deploy aggressive listening to force a manipulator to over-explain and break their own script. Most people believe that listening is a passive, submissive act. In the architecture of cognitive auditing, listening is a high-impact offensive weapon. When a toxic colleague, a lying partner, or an envious competitor tells you a story or gives an excuse, you do not nod, you do not smile, and you do not offer supportive filler words like, "aha," or "I see." You look them straight in the eyes with a completely blank poker face. You lock your gaze onto them, absorbing their data with cold, analytical intensity. When they finish their sentence, expecting you to validate them, you maintain absolute stillness and keep staring at them in dead silence for 2 full beats. This total lack of a social reward trigger manufactures intense inner anxiety in the liar. Their brain panics, assuming that their story didn't work. To fix the silence, they will subconsciously start rambling, adding unrequested details, changing their tone, and digging themselves deeper into a logical trap. You don't need to hunt for contradictions. Your aggressive silence forces them to manufacture their own exposure. Rule number 2. Strip away their social mask by asking low-tempo calibration questions. When an elite auditor catches a contradiction or senses an information trap, they never yell and they never make loud accusations. Aggression puts the manipulator on high alert and locks their cognitive defenses. Instead, you lower your speech rate by 30%, drop your volume to a deep, quiet resonance, and ask a calibration question. You ask, "What exactly makes you state that as a fact?" Or, "How does that conclusion align with what we agreed on yesterday?" Then you immediately freeze and seal your frame. This is the low-tempo calibration. By delivering the question with absolute, boring, and clinical coldness, you communicate that you are not emotionally invested in their drama. You treat their manipulation as a minor math error that needs to be audited. Because your tone has zero aggression, they cannot use an angry smoke bomb to escape. They are forced to answer your raw logic while facing the terrifying wall of your steady, unblinking eyes. Rule number 3. Repeat their exact text or statement back to them without adding any emotional commentary. In the theater of dark psychology, a covert aggressor relies heavily on implication, passive-aggressive digs, and shifting context. They say something toxic, but they wrap it in a tone that lets them deny it later. You break this strategy instantly by becoming a literal human mirror. The moment they drop a manipulative statement or an unrequested criticism, pause, look them dead in the eyes, and repeat their exact words back to them with flat, robotic neutrality. Say, "You just stated that my contribution to this project is completely low value. Is that correct?" Do not look angry. Do not raise your voice. Just hand them back their own data. When you repeat their toxic implication out loud and in plain English, you strip away their comfort zone. They are forced to either double down on their disrespect in front of everyone, which ruins their polite social mask, or backtrack nervously, saying, "No, that's not what I meant." You won the frame by forcing them to stand naked in front of their own malice. Rule number 4. Completely ignore their emotional tone and audit only the raw, verifiable facts. When a manipulator is caught in a tight corner, their final line of defense is an emotional smoke bomb. They will get defensive, show fake sadness, cry, or pretend to be deeply offended. They do this to hijack your focus and make you feel guilty for auditing them. An elite human auditor treats their emotional performance as completely irrelevant background noise. When they start yelling or playing the victim, do not adjust your posture and do not apologize. Maintain absolute poker face stillness. Wait for their emotional storm to pass, let the silence hang for 2 seconds, and repeat your question using only hard clinical facts. Say, "I am not auditing your frustration. I am auditing the missing data in this report." Explain the discrepancy. By separating their feelings from the facts, you completely disarm their ability to guilt trip you. You signal that their tears or anger have zero currency in your timeline, forcing them to drop the theater and submit to your analytical frame. Rule number 5. Maintain the poker face even after they have admitted their mistake or backed down. In standard social training, when someone finally apologizes, confesses a lie, or concedes an argument, people immediately rush to relieve the tension. They smile, they nod, or they say, "It's fine, don't worry about it." They do this because the raw atmosphere of victory makes them uncomfortable. An elite human auditor knows that relieving the tension too quickly is a strategic error. It allows the manipulator to escape the full weight of their consequences. When you deploy the concluding silence, you seal your dominance. After the manipulator backtracks or admits their failure, do not smile and do not offer comforting reassurance. Maintain your absolute poker face stillness and look them directly in the eyes for 3 long seconds of dead silence. Let the reality of their defeat settle heavily over their mind. This final freeze signals that your audit is not a game and that you do not offer cheap psychological forgiveness. You force them to carry the full accountability of their actions into tomorrow, ensuring that they will think twice before they ever attempt to target your frame again. True social dominance doesn't belong to the loudest tyrant who yells to manage perceptions. It belongs to the quietest architect who listens with calculation, filters the emotional smoke bombs, and transforms into a flawless human mirror that forces the manipulators to destroy themselves. When you master the laws of cognitive auditing and dark psychology, you stop being a blind subject in other people's matrices. You become the absolute ruler of your own environment. You read the unspoken signals, you decode the hidden motives, and you watch the world adapt to your high-agency calm. Your mind is your fortress. Never let anyone hack it for free. If you are ready to shatter their submissive scripts, reclaim your social gravity, and build a mind that no one can manipulate, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment with your thoughts on cognitive auditing, and stay powerful. This is Quiet Power.